Is astrology a guide to aid us in mastering the universe? This is the Cosmic Community Podcast with Galactic Ambassador Stacey Dredd. This week is definitely the conclusion week to our eclipse portal that we are traveling through. We are going to be accessing the follow-up events to that solar eclipse a week and a week ago. We have the lunar eclipse coming up on October 28th, and that solar eclipse was back on the 14th. And so the time between the two eclipses is known as the eclipse portal. And we are moving through that right now. We just had the sun move into Scorpio, which begins Scorpio season. And so we are diving into the deep, dark themes that Scorpio brings. And we are also moving through a time of this eclipse, meaning that we have some fated things happening. Eclipses happen when the sun and the moon are in play with the north and the south lunar nodes. The north and the south lunar nodes are not actual planets. They're just mathematical points in the sky, in which when we are all lined up, the planets all line up. So this lunar eclipse that we have coming up, the Earth is actually going to be moving between the sun and our moon, just perfect enough so that it gets eclipsed. The moon does, and looks dark. It's like a dark red color. We're not going to be able to see that lunar eclipse from the western portion of the United States. And so here in Bend, Oregon, unfortunately, we did get to see that solar eclipse last week, but unfortunately, we don't get to see the lunar eclipse, but we feel it. Even though we don't see it, we can feel the intense energy behind it. The north and the south lunar node are known as the nodes of fate. And so they bring with it cosmic course corrections, and the portal and the wormhole that we're traveling through is an acceleration point. It's taking us from one place to another with very little energy truly involved. And during eclipse season, we can find things to be taking transformation. We can find things leaving our lives or entering our lives very suddenly, abruptly. There is themes here with the north and the south node as they reside in individual signs. Right now, though, this lunar eclipse coming up, it's actually going to be an out of sign eclipse. Right now, the north node is in Aries and the south node is in Libra. And this lunar eclipse is going to be a full moon in Taurus. So it's just close enough yet out of sign. And so these Taurus eclipses we've been actually experiencing since 2021, since November of 2021. And this is going to be our last eclipse in the sign of Taurus until the next round many years from now when we get another eclipse cycle in Taurus. So it's really a week of conclusions because we are moving through and ending this eclipse cycle. But it's always a time of conclusion when we are going to have kind of the last event in a certain energy. And Taurus is the sign of material security and of the earth and our connection to the earth. This is an earth sign, and so represented by earth energy and by the bull. And this Taurus energy is a fixed sign, so it can be a little more tougher energy, tougher to move, a little more fixed, meaning that it is not so much into quick types of movements and quick spontaneous things. Well, I just mentioned that the eclipse brings with it these kind of unexpected changes. Taurus energy is not super into that. So when we have eclipses in Taurus, they can feel uncomfortable, for one, just because we're being forced to make changes. We're being forced to think a new way. Something in life is being forced along. There is a purging factor and a closing chapter to full moons in general, as they are the culmination points in every lunar cycle. And so, yes, big themes this week dealing with a change of season that's always tough, moving into the colder, darker periods in the northern hemisphere here, where I am doing this astrology from. We are moving into the darker months, and it's a time when it is tougher. Our minds go to tougher places. Our bodies are even a little more challenged as we're working into the next season. We're building up to a huge full moon, which is a big purge. And this is like a culmination point of our emotions also, and how we're feeling and expressing ourselves really comes out during a full moon. The energy here is just really intense, and it has been since we have been moving through this eclipse portal. And so we're a little more used to it now. We know that we're moving through an intense time, and it feels wobbly, and we can feel a little lost, and there can be some types of almost like a void there of what used to be, those hot summer months, and like you just really you're just like wishing for, or like dreaming of those times. And so Scorpio energy is a very deep, deep energy. This is all ruled by the planet of Pluto. In the chart this week, there is a lot of earth and water energy. In fact, it's ruled primarily by earth and water energy. And so that means that we have more feminine energies, as the earth and the water signs are all considered to be feminine energies. This is where we have a lot of feelings and emotions and receptivity. We are feeling more empathetic. There is just more accessibility of different emotions and feeling into how other people are feeling. Relationships. We get into relations when it comes to moon energy, and caring and that empathy that it takes to care for others and to think about other people. That is all very much tied into this lunar energy and the water energy. And so 3 planets in Scorpio right now, 2 planets in Pisces. Both Scorpio and Pisces are water signs. And so that is pretty heavy water energy there. People with water, lots of water energy in their charts, you're going to be feeling it. You have been feeling it. And this is an intense time for people with a lot of water energy. And this is Pisces and Scorpio for sure. But, if you're a Cancer, you're a water sign, but it's not happening directly to you in your sign, but it's happening to your other co-water signs. And so you're feeling it too, definitely. And then the earth signs, Taurus, as we talked about, we're building up into this Taurus energy. Jupiter and Uranus are both in the sign of Taurus. And we've got Venus in Virgo and Pluto in Capricorn. Those 3, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, all earth signs, and creating this actual earth trine, which means that there is supportive energy in all 3 earth signs. And so they're kind of holding each other up. So there is all of this water and earth energy, but also who rules the chart here? I just kind of wanted to go through and let everyone know why the planet of Pluto is ruling everything right now. And in astrology, all you're hearing about is the planet of Pluto. Well, the Sun, Mercury, and Mars are all in the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio is ruled by the planet of Pluto. So those 3 planets are looking to Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn is ruled by the planet of Saturn. So Pluto in Capricorn is looking to Saturn, who's in the sign of Pisces, just at 0 degrees of Pisces. The ruler of Pisces, who Saturn is looking for rulership here, is Neptune. And this is where the story ends. This is where Neptune is in the sign of Pisces, ruling the home sign there, and everybody is looking to Neptune there in the sign of Pisces. And this is making a sextile to Pluto. And so Pluto, once again, gets a tip of the hat from Neptune here, the ruler of like all of that Scorpio energy. Everything's coming back and around to Pluto there. And so we got the Taurus energies here opposing all of that Scorpio energy. And so Pluto really taking the stage here this week. And Pluto's the planet of transformation. This is not new energy to folks who listen to my show weekly. Pluto is in a pretty major aspect right now. Pluto is in the natal return for the United States. And so this is probably could sound foreign to some folks, but just a little chance to teach about birth charts here, because you can have a birth chart for anything. You can have a birth chart for a product, an invention, a country, a person, an animal. I mean, anybody, like anything that's, had that starting moment, that birthing moment. That is where you would lie the birth chart in for that thing. And so the United States has a birth chart, and Pluto is at the exact same spot right now, it's about 250 years later from 1776, and Pluto is sitting at 28 degrees of Capricorn, right where it was when the United States was born as a country. And so what does that mean? That just means that we are back to square one as a country, right? Pluto is the longest transiting planet. And so this is like when Pluto comes back to square one, everything has had an opportunity to recycle and recirculate and remove around and become cyclical. And then Pluto finally clicks back in. And it's like the true reawakening for the United States, as the astrology is suggesting here. And so we can just know that Pluto's at the same place as it was during that time, and that was a pretty rocky, wobbly period for a lot of people in the world and the creation of what we now know as our country. And so that is pretty powerful. And that's where we are right now as a country. And of course, the United States rules so much of everything on this planet, our media, our money, our culture, and whatnot. So that right there makes Pluto super important right now to basically the whole world. And then Pluto's in a T-square with the nodes of fate, which just means that we are accessing these accelerator points, these fated moments, these things that are destined for our lives, destined to come in, but also things that are destined to leave. So that's why eclipses and eclipse energy and nodal energy is just so quick, because it's kind of like hey, this is supposed to happen. And if you didn't already dig in and make this happen in your life, this is when the universe comes around and forces it in. So that's why Pluto is ruling the entire chart right now. That is Pluto energy, and that's eclipse energy, is clean cuts. And so if there's something recently, in your life that you're dealing with, trying to figure out if it stays or it goes, that is a Scorpio theme. That is a theme of this time of the year. And it's a theme of Pluto, as the sign of Scorpio is, houses a lot of the planets right now. That's where a lot of our energy is going. We're going to, where are we to cull where are we to make changes so that our energies are more efficiently going to the places that we would like it to? There are some other things going on this weekend within the realms of this full moon in Taurus lunar eclipse on October 28th. There is some big energy here. There's oppositional energy, and there's also a lot of Mars and Mercury energy, with which Mars is our aggression. Mars is our warrior spirit. Mars is where we fight for things. And then Mercury is our mind. Mercury is the way that we think and our communication, our talking, our thinking, our writing, and traveling. And so Mars and Mercury are making a conjunction at this full moon. And that means that they're coming together and that their energies are going to be blending. And so Mars, this like really forward, shoot first, ask questions later energy with Mercury, which is like our thinking and also our talking. There could be some things said or, the desire to, or almost things like forced out of our mouth, like that are said that we almost like didn't even know that was there. Mars is very much an energy that shows us what we want to fight for. And so Mars can surprise us sometimes. This Mars energy coming through in forms of our mind and our communication could be like saying things that we like didn't really know we wanted to say and that surprise us. Also, thoughts coming through about, things that we are wanting to be aggressive about or fight about, or like even if people are like really just aggressive and fighty and verbally, argumentative over the weekend, that this kind of energy is coming through with Mars and Mercury being in a conjunction together. Mercury's moving pretty fast though, so gonna move over Mars and get over this pretty quickly. There is also Jupiter energy involved. Jupiter is opposing this conjunction as it's happening, and Jupiter is like a visionary. Jupiter is always trying to bring in opportunity and to bring in more chances and to also trying to bring in some good luck here, but Jupiter energy is completely the farthest away that it can be from this right here. So there could be almost like this feeling of like, I'm having trouble accessing my vision, Jupiter. I'm having trouble, actually like seeing the long term of this Jupiter with like the Sun and Mercury and Mars over on the other side doing totally other things. They're more into diving into their emotions in Scorpio, going into deep shamanic states, hypnotic states. If you're looking for a way to get through this lunar eclipse, and there's just a lot coming up for you right now, it's been a tough couple weeks, please do know that you are not alone and that this energy is affecting everyone, all of us. And it's been intense for me too. And there's just been a lot of random things going on. I have just been in tears the last couple of days. Scorpio season just makes that happen. And, you just have to face it. You dive into it. It's the dark night of the soul, and it happens. These are our shadow areas, and they're just as beautiful as the other areas of our lives. When this full moon comes through, it's going to be shining a light into these shadow areas, and there could be some discomfort. There could be some secrets revealed. There could be some revelations. There could be some, oh my God, I did not know that was there, but now that I do, I can't forget about it, or whatever. So lots of stuff coming through. This too shall pass, and I will be back next week. And I just hope that you can use this energy for its most benevolent outcome in your life. And I will talk to you next week. Thank you so much. Peace. Thank you for listening to the Cosmic Community Podcast. More can be found at kpov.org/thecosmiccommunity.